Let's prepare carrots using a pressure canner. Follow the directions exactly, and you'll end up with a delicious and safe product. You will need a pressure canner, measuring cups and spoons, a chef's knife, a vegetable peeler, a saucepan or tea kettle, something that you can boil water in, a ladle, pint-sized canning jars with lids and rings, a headspace measurer and bubble freer. The bubble freer can be a plastic picnic knife, and your headspace measurer can be a plastic school ruler, a funnel, and a jar lifter. Before we start filling, let's go through this checklist. Of course, we always want to wash our hands with soap and water before we begin. You're going to wash all food contact surfaces with hot soapy water and rinse them well. Assemble your equipment, because once you get started, you're going to want everything at hand. After you've washed your jars, set them aside and pour hot water into the jars so that they are hot when we use them. Only pour the jar out just before filling. And the reason we want to do that is because we want everything to be hot. If you have hard water, you can add 2 tablespoons of white vinegar into the water to prevent water stains on the jars. To prepare your canner, pour 3 quarts of hot water around 140 degrees into the bottom of the canner. It should be 2 or 3 inches of water in the bottom of your canner. The amount of carrot you use will vary depending on whether you're going to make pints or quarts. If you want to make pints, you'll need 11 pounds of carrots. For quarts, 17.5 pounds of carrots. We begin by washing our carrots, and then slice your carrots into equally thick rounds. Empty out your jar, place the wide mouth funnel in the top of the jar, pack the carrot slices tightly into the jars, leaving 1-inch headspace. We're doing a raw pack on these carrots, so just the raw carrots placed into the jar. If you'd like to do a boiling or a hot pack with the carrots, you'd want to cook them on the stove prior to. You can find directions for that in the So Easy to Preserve book from the USDA. Our next step after the carrots are in the jar is to cover the carrots with boiling water, leaving 1-inch headspace. Make sure you measure that. Headspace is very important. Once you have the water in the jar, take a bubble freer, a picnic knife will work, and just wiggle it around in the jar, and you can see the air bubbles come up. Then we're going to wipe the rim of the jar with a damp paper towel and place the lid and the ring on the jar and adjust it until it's just finger tight. Then place the jars into your canner that you've prepared with the water, and then rotate it so that it locks in place. You will feel it. Turn your burner to high and then watch for steam to escape through the steam vent. What we want to see is a funnel of steam or a free flow of steam for 10 minutes before we put the pressure regulator on top of that pitcock valve. So after 10 minutes, set the pressure regulator on the valve and let the canner build pressure. We want 11 pounds of pressure for this process. What we don't want to do is for the pressure to go very far above the 11. There's safety measures in place, but what we don't want to happen is inside the pressure to build to the extent where the water in the jars could escape through the lid. So make sure we're holding steady at 11 pounds pressure. Follow the directions and making sure that we're setting the timer for 25 minutes if we're doing pints and 30 minutes if we're doing quarts. Stay around in the kitchen making sure that pressure doesn't go above 11. You also don't want it to go below 11. If your electricity goes off or some unforeseen something happens, you need to stop the timer, get the pressure back to 11 pounds, and start your timer all over again. It must be a full 25 to 30 minutes with no interruption. So once you have maintained that pressure for 25 minutes, turn your stove off and walk away. Do not try and hurry the equalization of pressure process. Let it do it naturally. When the pressure gauge reads 0 and the safety valve is flush with the top of the canner, then you can remove the pressure regulator and remove the lid by rocking back the lock mechanism. Open the lid away from you and then remove the jars with a jar lifter, placing them on a cooling rack or a heavy towel, cutting board, something that's going to protect the surface of your countertops, and allow 1 to 2 inches between the jars. Leave those jars undisturbed for 12 to 24 hours. You should hear them seal The next day, remove the rings, wipe the jars, label those lids with what they are and the date, and store them in a cool, dry, dark place. Use them within a year for best flavor. Canned carrots make a quick, easy side dish for any family meal.